So my third attempt to round off this knowledge, or this section of it, and move on to something else. Okay, so I have to include this, I guess. I'm talking about the human species, and looking at it through the eyes of these ancients, because this is a whole other perspective. So in other videos I've put forward that these things, these eggs, or like oval shaped kind of containers, represent like a gene container, like I guess exactly what an egg is. It contains all the genetic kind of material or code in there to spawn a creature, and just to show some other. So you got here, like, it's a big theme, this oval shaped primordial egg thing. It's an important theme, and it pops up. There's like 48 of them here, and I showed how 48 being a multiple of 12, I showed how it relates astrologically. So you got 12 like personality types, which, you know, personality, all that stuff's in our gene programming. So the 48 represents a further variance of those, just like, you know, in things like genetic drift, things in the era of time, including genetics, come into dissolution and further variance and mutations, and I put forward that these primordial eggs represent that, and I related it astrologically because they are nesting beneath the sky goddess, Nut, or Newt, I believe it's called. This representation of her, some funerary couch. So yeah, that was like nesting beneath the stars, and so I further related it to. I went as far as relating it to even the Last Supper, how we see the astro theology kind of stuff come in. You know, you got the sun, and then the 12 zodiac things revolving the sun, relating to the disciples, how it's all like numerologically and astrologically connected there as well. But that's pretty well known. But what I wanted to show is with how I relate this numerologically and genetically, these eggs, is because of the 48, only 3, 4 actually, 4 at the most, but there seems to be one that's separate from those 3 that is exactly directly marked as what it is. So the academic theory is the tomb was rushed and all these were mismarked because they contain certain animal flesh and certain parts of animals, and they're labelled incorrectly to their contents. So the surface, what you see, isn't equal to what's in them, as I keep telling, is a recurring theme, showing the corpse in the tomb isn't the real Tutankhamun. So, and the whole tomb is a genetic code. So you got like only 4 at the most. So if we go back to the Last Supper, I showed the 3 out of the, see, okay, basically, okay, there is a code with Da Vinci, but it's basically an Egyptian code. Like, I'll go more into it in this video as well, showing another example. So he's copying a code or continuing a legacy that he probably believes is part of. So yeah, okay, back to this scenario here. So it's interesting, yeah, for the 3 are marked correctly, and then on the separation there's one that's definitely marked correctly. So we see how we got the division here and the division here. We see, like, I showed how, like, these rods described how even biblically they use them to represent divine or genetic bloodlines, or yeah. So we have them separated here. There's only one on the side of Tutankhamun, most probably. And you see here on the side of Jesus only one trait is, and it's made a point of it by using a point, you know, 1. It's saying a fair bit, really, and that's all, and they are one. It's not like they're 2 separate things, because we're looking at the 2 base pairs that make something. So this trait, this, like, not specific to Thomas, it's movable within, you know, it's mainly with John, but in this particular situation it's with Thomas, showing it is a trait that is a base in the human species, and it's coupled ideally with what's represented here, but together they are one. So 3 and then 1 is 4, and which does match. So you have, like, genetic connection, numerology, the genetic, if you will, connection. So yeah, so Da Vinci, yeah, it's the code, it's basically the same. Well, it's identical as the Egyptian code. It's pretty much, you know, that's the language. They have specific uses, like you don't throw just letters or whatever in random words and hope for the best. So yeah, here's another. So that was, I didn't show it too well on the last time, but yeah, there's, with the leg up situation, half of or part of the creatures, yeah, reliant on this base. And these symbols are interesting. I might go into this double arm feature that pops up to do with the energy body. So it is looking at consciousness and fertility, combining those things, you know, non-physical. So yeah, that's pretty much, I should be able to round it off there and maybe move into more, since we're discussing using, like, the hive as an example. Probably might have to go into some occult themes, looking at the role of parthenogenesis in the biological world to do with the queen bee and the hive and the human hive, certain initiations, things like that. Alright, that concludes species 3.